Hello and welcome to Search to Crit. My name is Jay. I am today joined by an honoured guest, the recently crowned World Champion of Star Wars Legion, Mr. Luke Cook. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I am doing very well, and as I mentioned off the recording, it's very hot in the UK. It's summer. I really despise it. I'm far too sweaty and far too hot, and it's horrible. But yes, of course, Luke, you've just won Worlds. We will be talking a little bit about that. First of all, we'll talk about you as your wargaming and stuff like that, and how you got into it. Then we will talk about Worlds. We'll talk about the meta and all that kind of jazz. And a little confession. I asked Luke to be on this show before he won Worlds. Honest, I do promise that is the case. Because I just wanted to talk about his YouTube channel. And his YouTube channel is No Disintegrations. It's a fabulous YouTube channel, and I highly recommend that you go and check it out. There will be a link in the description below, or wherever this is, iTunes, whatever it's on. Obviously, you can just search on YouTube, Luke Cook, No Disintegrations. You will find it there. Star Wars Legion. You'll recognize it. So you'll find it. And I do highly recommend you check it out. So, at the risk of being very cheesy, I will ask you the American sports presenter question. Has it set in yet that you are now world champion of Star Wars Legion 2019?
I've listened to Queen, We Are the Champions, like a couple times now, and that really made it set in. On
the drive home, just get that on.
Yeah, so... Yeah, it's starting to really set in here, and I'm just, I can't even describe, I'm so pumped.
Well, obviously, I should really say congratulations, but,
Thank you.
I presume everybody will be saying that to you. Yeah, so we will talk more about it in Worlds, but first of all, we'll talk about an intro. How did you, get into wargaming? When did you start? What's your history, I guess is the question.
Well, I guess I have to blame my dad for all that. He got me into, playing with minis and stuff since I was 3 years old, probably. Then I started playing games at 7 or 8 with him. So we've been playing together forever.
What kind of games were they, if you don't mind me asking?
So my first game that I started playing, was a game called Star Wars Miniatures. It was Wizards of the Coast.
Yes.
A D20 rule set. It was super tactile, and I gotta give credit. A lot of my tactics and thinking come from that game. I started getting into the competitive tournament stuff when I was 13, and I started beating the 40-year-olds and winning tournaments when I was that young. So,
a bit of me, I'm sort of glad to hear you say something like that, because I used to play Warhammer Fantasy, but it was very casual. We were proxying the models. We weren't try-harding. We were just making whatever and playing. And But I am now trying to be a little bit more competitive with Star Wars Legion, and I'm always curious how much we think experience plays into a part of it. I don't know. Yeah, I'm happy in a sense that you've had such experience, and it's not just an overnight thing. You didn't just start Star Wars Legion and was incredible at it. It's something you've experienced along the way. Do you reckon that's a big part of your? I won't say your ability. Obviously, you're quite smart. You can't be world champion without being smart. But do you reckon your experience has definitely helped quite a lot?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And, I've played a lot of other games, and I think it just transfers, and then you can, use what you've learned from other game styles, and you just apply it to the new game that you're playing. And that's definitely helped me in Legion, for sure. That experience, yeah.
That makes perfect sense. So what other games did you play growing up? I mean, everybody's dabbled in some sort of GW game, I presume.
Yeah. I've played the strategy battle game for Lord of the Rings, as well as the War of the Ring with the trades, and you just have mass battles. I've obviously played XWing back when it first came out. Some other little games and stuff like that, but now I'm just focusing on Legion. So
yeah, what were you playing just before Legion was announced or came out? Was that X-Wing at that point, or was it something else?
I gotta be honest, I was I had taken a break from gaming up until Legion, just because I was in college and stuff,
Yeah, I think that's fairly common. A lot of people, like, when they hit maybe the teenage years or the like late teens, stop.
Yeah.
Come back later when they realize actually it's still pretty fun. So I guess that makes
exactly.
sense.
Yeah.
Next question would be, well, you did that. So when Star Wars Legion came out, at what point did you decide to make the YouTube channel?
Oh, that was maybe a couple months ago. I wanted to film, battle reports and stuff. I've only gotten 2, but I just wanted to do it because, I think I have some good, like, information or, like, tips and stuff like that to give to people that want to play competitively. And, yeah, I just wanted to start the YouTube channel. So if I get one video out a week, it's a good week. I'm kind of
I do appreciate the effort in making YouTube videos can be something, but obviously you do have something to offer. I guess being world champion is a sort of like official signal that you do have something to offer. Not that you didn't anyway. You're obviously a good player anyway, but now you can be like, well, come on,
yeah.
I'm literally backing this up, guys. So get in there. And making videos. I don't think you necessarily need to have one every week. It's just get it when you can. And obviously, I know this from experience. You can't really talk about Legion, 4 times a week for a year. It's not something that's feasible. So to have the breaks in between, I think is perfectly reasonable. Perfectly makes sense. Obviously, now you've become world champion. Is the goal possibly to maybe increase the YouTube content, but take advantage of this and ride the YouTube wave into the sunset?
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I mean, I've been surprised just like how much my subscriber base has just like boosted. Like, when I was first posting videos, I would get like 1 or 2, but now every time I post a video, it's like you get like 10 subscribers or something. So it's been growing a lot. I'm at like 120-ish or something, which I honestly never expected. I thought I was going to be in 30s forever.
Well, I mean, personally, I think that's too low. We need to get people over there and get people to subscribe right now. And so if you are listening to this, just turn off the podcast and go to YouTube and find another situation to come. So you've started the YouTube. You're now world champion, so we can get that going. You get that boosted. The thing is with battle reports on YouTube, you said you filmed 2. They can be. There's so many different ways of doing battle reports. Like, what's your favorite to watch? I don't just mean who makes them. What kind of style do you prefer? The pictures? Do you prefer handheld, shaky handheld? Do you prefer a tripod where it's a static cam?
Yeah, so I think I prefer like the handheld. Like, you started doing that, and War Corgi does it really well. The Australian guys do it really well.
Master of the Force, yeah.
Yep, Master of the Force. So that style, I tried once doing it, and I just couldn't get the hang of it. I'm gonna try again. But yeah, the tripod, it can get like a little stale because you see the whole game, which is what I did for my 2. I don't know. I didn't really like it, but I'm going to try to do the handheld because I think it's, easier to edit and like you can cut right to what's happening.
Yeah, and when I actually do those kind of videos, I try not to edit them almost at all. I just piece together the bits that I stop and start the recording, and everything is sequential, and then I just put it together and cut out any really weird bits. So but I think that it's weird because for a competitive thing, that style of recording may not be the greatest, but as a tripod, as you say, it can be a little bit stale in watching them. And then, you can get all fancy, have like lines on it and talk it over and all that kind of stuff, but it can be quite difficult to keep those interesting. But obviously, you can now, I think I came across you probably when you did your sniper video, I think, and that's like such a unique insight you obviously have to it because obviously you're a very good competitive player. So will you be doing more of those, I presume?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that's like one of my favorite videos to do, just like break down something that's happening in the meta and what you're gonna expect basically at tournaments if you go to them. and being a competitive player, I know what's going on and what to expect and how to play it and maybe what counters, that sort of thing. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. And I'm very excited to see what you do in the future. Obviously, now I'll be like, well, I know this guy is talking sense, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to follow it. Forget Ellis. Ellis from Legion Command's no good to me anymore. His advice is terrible. I don't need him in my life. So we'll move away from yourself. Oh no, we can talk about you all day if you like, but we'll move a little bit away. The question, I mean, I find this quite funny, and it's actually quite a cool initiative that they're doing. At the Northeast Open, there is a bounty on your head. I quite like the fact that they've now opened that up to have bounties for other players and stuff like that. I mean, how do you feel about that challenge going down?
I thought it was pretty fun. It's just gaining excitement, I think. So I think it's really cool. I put a bounty back on myself. So if you beat me, you gotta buy me a beer because you just got yourself a new free core set. So
genius. I mean, hopefully it's a one-time only bounty. Otherwise, you could just tank all your games and just keep getting drinks.
Yeah.
Well, that obviously leads us a little bit onto Worlds, and I'm not here expecting you to go through all of your games and stuff like that. There's 6 games. Over 2 days. I'm just sort of curious about your experience overall. Like, how do you find the tables? How far away is the FFG headquarters from yourself? I literally don't even know that, for example.
So if I wanted to drive there, it would be about 14 hours.
That's a long time.
So it's because I have to go around the Finger Lakes. Like, there's no direct route. But I took a plane there, so it took me about 5 to 6 hours. So it wasn't bad.
5 to 6 hours to me is I could literally fly to Africa in that time. That's how far away that is. So that is.
Well, it's because I had layovers and I kept getting delayed and stuff. My traveling experiences this past weekend were not very good. I gotta say that.
How far away is the Northeast Open from yourself, just out of interest?
That's actually those guys are locals. I'll put that in quotes because they're 2.5 hours away. So I just have to drive there. So it won't be too bad. Yeah,
it's weird. I think I was saying just before we started, in Europe, in the UK, almost nothing is 5 hours. There isn't a 12-hour drive in the UK, really. Maybe the tip of Scotland from the south would maybe be that far. But obviously, if I wanted to get to America's really the size of Europe. If I wanted to get to Italy, then we would be talking some serious time.
Yep.
I think if anything, it's probably better for the US that you're one country, makes it easy to travel. You've got roads that you literally could drive if you wanted to, but you've got internal flights. You don't have to do passport control and all that kind of good stuff. But so you got to Worlds. Did you get there? It started on Saturday. Were you there Friday night?
Yeah, so I got there actually Friday at noon, and me and one of the other guys arrived at the same time. So we just went ahead and went to the game center. We played a little game. He wanted to get some rust off his back, so he hadn't played in a little bit. And then later that night we had dinner and stuff with everybody, and then Saturday was the gaming. So yeah.
Yeah. So the FFG Center that's where I to phrase this. That is where they work, and then they have a bolted on open, not an open gaming, but a gaming center basically.
Yep. So it's basically a game store, and then connected to it they have all their design studios and their offices and things like that. They do have a full kitchen in there, which is pretty cool. They sell a bunch of food. Really sweet. That was my first time that I've ever been there, actually. So that was pretty cool. So, I mean,
how do you find those facilities? The facility, you said the food was quite good. The access is obviously fine. The tables, some people were arguing on the internet about the tables, and I don't necessarily understand why. It seemed you get what you're given. It didn't seem completely insane or anything. It obviously looked fantastic. I know Sean Morris did that.
They looked amazing.
But people talking about the density, maybe a little more dense, a little bit too much terrain.
No, I thought it was actually pretty good. They did say that, like, and I could tell just from looking at it, it was probably like 35% terrain coverage, maybe even more. But I think that the terrain was really good. Like, they had all aspects of it. They had, like, hard cover, soft cover, or light cover. They had barricades, area terrain, line of sight blockers. Like, I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I think a lot of my like tournaments that I've been to, you don't get everything. You'll get maybe
Right.
big blocking hard. I've had tables where it's literally just been everything has been hard cover because nothing else makes any sense.
Yep, exactly.
And getting like area terrain as hard cover, area terrain light cover can be like really quite difficult, but it's important for certain units, like like scouts or commandos or whatever it is. And so the fact that it had like a reasonably well balanced, if it's 10% more than normal, it's not really.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's neither here nor there to me, really.
Yep.
I did have one of my questions. I'm gonna have to check my notes. So we'll talk about your list. I know the list that you took was Via's Bubba, basically. I say Bubba, and people tell me off of that. Boba Fett. Boba. Although I've seen it, the guy I think was he played by like an English guy who was like bald and wearing glasses. Anyway, neither here nor there. That'll be me in a few years. Yeah, you took Via's Bubba. It's a classic combination. Is that just something you've been practicing with? Or do you think that is the best list, for example? Right, is that?
I've been playing that list since like September. Like I'll experiment with other lists, but like in tournaments and things, like I just have the most experience with that list, and for that reason, I just know how to play it really well and feel most comfortable with it. So that's why I really took it.
Was there any list you really didn't want to face with that list?
So I will say that LJ Pena's list can give me some trouble. It's basically
sorry, I don't know.
So yeah. It's Krennic Boba. So you basically drop Veers and like 2 DLT teams out of my list, and you put in Krennic and a Death Trooper squad as well as some medics. And so why that would give me some issue, it puts out more suppression, I guess. And the Death Troopers, if they just hang at range 4, they can just start deleting my core units. And I can't really win the sniper war in a sense. I mean, I do have like spotter from Veers, which would probably help a lot. But because he has like medics as well as 3 snipers, like it's almost like an even battle there. So that would be a really tough matchup for me, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think I might be going crazy, right? So there was were you the only Bubba Veers? Because the other 2 had Palp, didn't they?
Yep. Right. Yep. It was really cool to see, actually. Like all 4 Empire lists were completely different, basically. On the Rebel side, they were more similar.
But we're coming back to Luke Leia. Don't get me wrong.
So
the Palp list. So when I was watching it, I watched the first 2 games on each day. And by the time the 3rd game came around, it was bedtime.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, whatever. 10 p.m.'s my bedtime, guys. I'm off. See you later. But yeah, so I saw most of the games. I've not actually been back and watched the final yet, which is something I probably will do. But yeah, the Palpatine thing still blows my mind. Like, why do you think Palpatine's any good?
I think he's pretty good. I think he is pretty good. He can do so many like tricky plays.
He's expensive.
Yeah, he is expensive. I think his points need to be dropped maybe by like 10 to 20. But yeah, I mean the Royal Guard, like the entourage tricks that you can do with that and like pull the strings, like I think there's some tricky stuff that you can do there. I've had experience playing Palp for a bit, and I think it's really good.
I would have expected a little bit more Boba Veers.
Yeah,
did you expect at least another one?
Honestly, I put everybody on their list that they were gonna run. I know
them quite well, I presume.
Well, I kind of knew them. And like we were talking in the Discord and stuff, we had our little like worlds group chat or whatever, and it was funny because we were all like, "Oh, I'm gonna run this. So I'm bringing double HSC or something like, just messing with each other. So that was pretty funny.
Oh, I don't normally like play online or anything, but I played in the Invader, not the Invader, the Team League.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And we were just buffing lists. We were just like, oh, I've been running this all week or whatever. So, so, although I think my most favourite moment in that was, I think, in one round we just ran 3 of the same list, because you could then just pick who you played in each one.
Right.
Quite a cool system. That's started again, the Team League, for anybody interested. I think it's going up to 5 person. I haven't properly checked it out, so don't quote me on that too much. So yeah, you took. Let's talk about the elephant that I don't really like. Luke Leia. They were everywhere. Well, I say they were everywhere. Every Rebel list was basically Luke Leia.
Yeah, so I'm definitely. I mean, you can't blame the players.
No, I don't blame the players at all. No, sorry.
They're going to the highest, level of competition for this game, and they're gonna take the best and what they feel most comfortable with. Personally, like, Luke is just a beast. Like, his point cost and for what he can do, like, just right now, he's kind of an auto-include, I would say, just because he's so dang good. And then Leia, like, is the best support commander in the game, I'd say. And close second probably being Veers. So, I mean, you put the two together and it just works really well. So yeah, there's not much. We knew that since like last year, right?
Yeah, so, sure. I mean, that is literally like wave 1 or 2, whatever it was.
Yeah, exactly.
That is literally the start of the game, and they've been powerful since then. It's not like something's changed and they become powerful. Yep. So it's obviously expected. So quickly talking about your games. This sounds weird. I'm not even 100% sure what format it was. I think, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that they split you into 2 groups based on seeding from previous events, and then you did like a round robin in that group, and the top 2 went through.
So that they did it like 2 groups, so it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think it was, if that makes sense. And then. So we played round robin within our 4-man group, and so you played 3 games, obviously, and then the top 2 from each group went to day 2, and so there was like a couple scenarios that I was worried about. Like, there was one scenario where there's 3 2-1s and then 1 0-3, and so. Basically, the tiebreaker, if like our records were similar, was your seeding at Adepticon. So I was actually behind. I was the 3rd seed in my group because Kingsley and Daniel Lupo, they were higher seeded than me. So if it would have came down to that, they would have had the spots. But I was glad that didn't happen.
Yeah, makes sense. So what actually were the records in your group? Do you remember? Do you know off the top of your head?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was me and Dan were 2-1, and then Matt and Kingsley were 1-2.
All right, so pretty easy, just going through to the next round kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then presumably if you were both 2-1, you were essentially... not bottom seed, that sounds bad, but the second seed in that going forward. And then, I don't know, did you then play the top seed in the other group?
Yep, that's what happened.
I did watch that game, and I still can't remember. But
yeah, so I played Eric Riha, and he was 3-0. And, I got to be honest, I was kind of glad that I had lost my 3rd game against Lupo, which made him a higher seed, because I felt that my army would be better against Palp than it would against what Kyle had brought. So I was kind of glad that I had lost, actually. Yeah.
Oh, that's an interesting thing to happen. Now, that game, I think were you? I don't know if you were on stream for the first 2 games on day 1, but that was the game that I saw you on stream for, and I actually can talk about that game because I saw it. I was because the way that the terrain was blocking some of your troops on the key position, and you had to clamber up. I was like, I don't know what's going on here. I don't even can't even follow this. And then on the last turn, You played Whipcord against Now You Will Die.
Yep.
I was curious. Do you think? And I think the answer to this is the game would have still gone the way that it did. But do you think it would have gone any differently if he would have got Now You Will Die off before Whipcord?
I honestly don't think so. Because he's not going to kill Boba Fett in hardcover, and if he wastes shots into Boba, then my core units are safe. So the thing that he would have had to do, and I don't even know if he would have been able to get that far.
Is this immobilize the troopers, basically?
Yeah, if he double moved Palp and then started taking hit points and shot at the troopers on the other side, I'm not sure that he would have been able to get all of them. But even if he had, like, Boba Fett can then just hop into the middle, kill off a unit, or try and kill Palp and get a bounty.
Yeah.
And Veers could have still gotten there, and like I don't think it would have mattered.
Yeah, for
personally,
sure.
But
that's what I'm saying. It did look like that it didn't matter, but a bit of me was just I would have. Sometimes I'd like to see the alternative scenario play out just for like intrigue's sake. But yeah, so obviously you went into the final. I didn't see the final at all. I don't even know who you were playing, which is really bad. Because I've not seen it. Who were you playing in the final?
I was playing Kyle, who is Orchimedes from Notorious Scoundrels podcast, and he does the blog. I think it's Never Tell Me the Odds, but yeah, he's super good. It was basically like a grudge match from Invader League. We played in the semis against each other, and he beat me in that. So he's really good.
Well, I mean, you had your revenge, so
Yeah.
Wouldn't sweat it too much at this point. Was there anybody like? Personally, I thought Kingsley might do a little bit better. Is there anybody you think, or either under or over? We'll not talk about overperforming because that makes it sound rude. Anybody you think underperformed?
Yeah, so I mean, everybody's so good there. Like, I had picked some people that I thought were gonna win, and then because everybody's so good, like anybody can win, and it was really cool to see because I bet like everybody had their money on like Kingsley and probably Kyle, obviously, and then I think it was like I thought LJ was gonna do really well because he's a really good player. He beat me at high command, but yeah, he didn't end up making day 2 either. So it was really cool, I guess, because everybody had their expectations of who was going to win, and then surprises got in there. So yeah,
I mean that's always the case, and I guess like when we go to tournaments in the UK, I pretty much know who's going to be at the top. It don't matter what they run, it don't matter what they do. I know who the best players are, and I know the people who are going to be in the middle and the people who are going to be in the bottom. Whereas like between like Ellis and Nikki, I don't know, just because people might know them, they often at a tournament, it's them two just in the last round, and then whoever wins, it's like meh. One of them. It doesn't and it can often change. So that's the beauty of the game, I think. I also like the fact that really the best players win most of the time, but if you're a similar skill, then there is still obviously a bit of element of chance and outplaying people and that kind of stuff.
Right, and it was really cool because actually every 8 of us, or every single 8 of us, each won a game, so nobody went 0 for 3 or whatever. At least
that would be the shocker, I guess. Like if you one, but
so that was actually really cool.
And then I think you all played on the Saturday night. You all played Outer Rim or something. Had a good time.
Yeah, that was cool. That's a cool game. That was my first time dabbling with that, so that was really cool.
Mm-hmm. And let me just check. So. At Worlds, you had, and I know you can't talk about this, but if I don't ask about this, people will be like, hey, why did you ask? So you had a sneak peek of stuff to come now. I know you can't say what it was, so I obviously presume you would have seen the core troopers, the core box. That's a given, right? For the Clone Wars we're talking here, by the way. Did you see like Wave 2, like 1, 2, 3, or like do you know up until the point that you saw?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't really say much.
Can't even say what you did.
But we did get to see some really cool stuff, man. Like some really sweet stuff.
And I heard somebody say that they thought, and I don't know who this was, so apologies. Somebody thought that that the new factions might be reasonably competitive quickly rather than slowly. I think that's one thing I was worried about. Like, obviously, you know, whilst Luke Leia is early waves and Scouts and Commandos are early wave, you know, you're always a bit worried that maybe not having enough options might make them predictable or make them just not competitive. Do you think that will not be the case? Do you think they will be reasonably competitive early?
Yeah, so I think they're gonna release with the core set or whatever, and maybe an expansion like they did with the first release a year ago, and then maybe they get 1 or 2 expansions after that, and then I think they'll be pretty competitive.
Sure, I don't think I'm expecting them to be competitive like from the core box. That's
from the core box. I don't know.
It's going to be like just core troopers, commander, and
and
one of the vehicles or whatever.
Yeah.
So I
guess they need special forces or something in that slot.
Yeah, I mean, you almost can't not give them something that matches the snipers at some point, because otherwise your activations and stuff like that might end up being a bit out of sync, or out of whatever you want to call it. So we're just talking about like the meta at the minute. Obviously, it feels like nothing's changed for like a couple of months, and that's because we've not had anything for a couple of months. That's the main reason. But for the next couple of months, we're really getting some serious contenders, I think. So we'll go through them one by one. I think if you've been following the online play, you pretty much know Bosk is definitely a thing. You're either going to see double bounty, or you might see him in single bounty. You might not see him. You might see single bounty. You might see Boba and Vias still. I think that's obviously still going to stick around. But talk me through about Bosk. What do you think the best list with Boskin is?
Personally, I think if you really want like the best list, you just run my list, but you replace Boba with Bosk, and then you have more points to throw in like a medic and an officer in there. So I think it's just super good. That's basically what Kyle was running in Invader, and he won the whole thing. So yeah, I think that's really strong.
So he won just with Via's Bosk.
Yeah, Veer's Bosk. Yep.
Yeah, like when I saw Bosk, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, meh.
I know, right? Yeah.
And then I was just lying in wait, and so when I saw lying in wait, I was like, that is stupid.
Yeah.
I was like, that is fine, ridiculous. I was like, what's the point? But I changed my mind completely. I was very much incorrect. It's like a Swiss Army knife, isn't it? We give a character utility in lots of stuff they can do. Well, they're gonna at some point do it all, and it's gonna like really impact it. So, rebels are rebels; they'll do the rebel things. Do you think Sabine will mix this up? I think you're obviously gonna see some Luke and Sabine.
Yep.
But beyond that.
So I think Leia Sabine as well. You just take out Luke, put in Sabine.
Like a cheaper version of Luke, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You do miss Force Push. Like Force Push is like the best upgrade in the game. It's kind of busted that it's only 10 points, but
yeah. In the chat, I was trying to get Alex to let us push stuff off buildings. I'm still. Maybe even give me like a super force push that lets me do it. Just let me push somebody off a building. Jesus.
Yeah. So yeah, and last night I played a TTS game with Leia Sabine. I'm trying out Rebels now that I gotta take it easy.
Tontons are coming into the
Tauntauns will be really good. So yeah, I think like over the next 2 months, the meta or whatever you want to call it is just gonna blow up. I don't think really there's gonna be like the top 2 lists anymore. There might be like 5 that you can run.
Sure, I know some people were even talking about like Sabine Han. It's hard to predict something fully, but especially when there's other things that come out that we don't know about, like the Shore Troopers and the Tauntons. Sorry, I'm British. It sounds like Tauntons. It sounds weird when I say it, but some people have been telling me that they're buying 3 and running 3 units of Tauntons. Do you think do you think they're looking good?
Yeah, I think they're really good. I mean, you get like 4 actions off of 1 action or something crazy. Like you take 1 move and you get like a dodge. You can reposition. You can like attack something, and then there's something else. I think so. They're gonna be.
A bit of me looks at the Tauntons and think, are the speeder bikes now not overpriced?
Yeah, I think the speeder bikes are definitely in a bad spot right now.
And they did talk about briefly. They talked about changing the points, and I've always been in favor of them having a point system like XWing. That's what I really want in my life. I want an app because I mean I don't care about I don't use the points on the card. I almost never look at them. I use either use a web builder or something like that.
Right.
And the cards, I'm not looking at the points. I might look at them for wording, but I'm not looking at them to be like, this was 10 points. Like,
yeah.
So I mean, you could. I'm very much in favor of an app. I have a bit of a grudge that I think in X-Wing they should have gone a little bit bigger with their app, and they should have had a tournament system built in so that they could see which list would be in what list. And in my working life, I'm like a data analyst basically, so I want the data. I basically want all the data available. Probably not do anything with it, but I think they should have gone aggressively. Do you think we'll see point changes in the next 6 months? Maybe we'll get it with Clone Wars? Is that would be a time to possibly consider it?
Yeah, I think they're definitely looking into point changes on like the units that don't see play anymore, which I think is totally cool. I don't care, like you said, about the cards at all. I use list builders online anyways, and I think point changes are completely okay, and I think they're definitely going to do them. And I'm pretty sure Alex was saying that on stream like all weekend. So
I don't think that's a surprise. Like he's essentially saying they'll do it. It's just a case of how will they do it and when will they do it. I think that is the main question, and the answer to that is unknown. While we're on the subject of points, we'll talk about units that should come down. I think the airspeeder should go up just for lols. I think that would be funny. Just make it like 300 points, whatever. I don't want to see it. I broke mine anyway. Mine's downstairs on like a table and I've lost stuff. So I really don't want to see it in competitive play because I don't want to have to buy another. There's classics. So you said Palp before, and Palp was an interesting one considering Palp was like actually represented at Worlds. You've got stuff like Vader. Obviously, with the classic.
Vader definitely.
Although some people say you could sort of fix Vader with maybe a force speed move, and I would like to see that as well. Yeah, you've got to be careful if they know something that's coming, they're not going to change the points if it's going to break it, for example. But people would suggest the saboteurs, but the saboteurs were getting ran as well, so I would say they're probably fine. Speeder bikes probably would come down. Are there any obvious choices I'm missing? Maybe that you would maybe change the points a little bit?
So like any of the exhaustible weapons, like those things should just go down because nobody runs those.
Yeah, I think that it's either you have it as exhaustible or you have it as high points. Not both.
Right. Yeah, they kind of like double whammied it, and then like some of them they like triple whammied it with like cumbersome and stuff like that. So. Yeah, they just made them like stupid bad.
I sort of understand that because an ion weapon, ion weapon would really shut down like a ridiculously expensive unit. Totally. So I'm not saying it's easy for people to be like, oh well, I'm never going to use this card. But it's like it would be oppressive if it was the other way around. So for those things, it makes sense. I think though you very rarely see the scattergun from the rebel ion trooper. You very rarely see it. You should at least have a reason to. Maybe I'll think about it. Like you don't even put it into your frame of mind, do you? Really, you don't think yes. You just I'm not bothered. Like it's not.
Nope, not even a choice. Like
no,
don't even think about it. Yeah.
So I think for those things, the point changes would be good. I think like Jin and the Pathfinders are like in a bit of a weird place. People are talking about like Sabine Jin, but
no, Jin is way overcosted. Like she just doesn't do anything. As bad as it sounds. I think the strike snipers their points should be like increased just because they're so damn good.
Yeah, and I don't know if you would have heard this, but Alex on the stream was just talking about how he sort of regretted them. Not necessarily in terms of points, I think more in terms of just interactivity with the unit because you deploy them, you shoot with them.
Yep, and that's all they do. They just aim shoot every time. Yeah. I guess you got to pick your like targets wisely or whatever. So there's some strategy to them, but like they're just
it's almost point and click in a sense, though. Basically, and it's like that all the game. So I can understand maybe how he's unhappy with the design of them, but now that you've designed them like that, you sort of backed yourself into that corner. The time is to up them in points and go with what we want. I think that's pretty much like everything in terms of like things I would maybe look at points. Like, there's stuff like Wookiees and Royal Guards, but there's a unit of Royal Guards. You have that with, like, if you maybe change Vader, maybe you don't want to change it. Palpatine, maybe you don't want to change the Royal Guard. So, obviously, you can't look at that in a vacuum and say, we'll just do this and this change. So, it's more complex than that. So, overall, though, how was your, like, you obviously obviously had a good time winning Worlds. Would you have enjoyed yourself if you hadn't have won?
Oh, yeah. I mean, going to these conventions and tournaments, like, honestly, my favorite part is just hanging out with everybody and just talking different stuff. Not even Legion, like, it's just really cool to see. And, like, all the dudes there, they were super chill, and, like, we just had a great time.
Completely the opposite over here in the UK. I hate talking to Ellis. I really wish he was there most of the time. Don't want to hang out with him, so that's fine. I think in the UK, the only time that we'll probably experience this is like our first 2-dayer is the London GT that Alice is actually going to be hosting, and I'm excited about that. Like I've never been to a 2-day tournament before. I don't drink, so I'm not going to be like excessively wasting myself at the evening or anything like that. So, I'm hoping like the community in the EU will increase a little bit. We've not necessarily had the organized play options. I think maybe like that you guys have had. Like, would you like to see that improve just for like people to stop moaning about it like me?
Oh yeah. Just to get all the haters off my back, yeah.
Oh well, yeah. I have seen some people. I think that's right. If I'm honest, that's ridiculously unfair because in the online leagues and stuff like that, you obviously like you were third this thing, and anybody from the I don't think anybody from the EU apart from maybe Alice and Nikki was even represented maybe. So I think that's just stupid. If I'm honest, like I do sort of agree in one sense of EU should have had more organised play. Like, it sort of bugs me a little bit. We had like one nationals and it was like 7 people on a Friday or something because they organised it like 2 weeks beforehand. But I think Legion's the kind of game where if they really support the competitive scene properly, it could really, really blow up.
Yep. And I mean, like, last year it was the first year, and like they're a North American based company and stuff like that. So obviously, they're gonna have all their stuff in North America, but they're expanding, and I think they're doing a good job. So
yeah, and this is the kind of thing. It's
moving forward, we'll be okay.
There's the problem of if you build it, they will come. But if you don't give the people the option, though, they might not. But imagine if FFG said, right, we're going to host a big event in Europe, the World's Nationals, Regionals, whatever they call it, and we're going to pay for the flights, and then 12 people turn up. Like, it's wasted. You've got to judge it at the right time. So I think, it's a bit easy for them over there because they know what they're going to get. They can run it, and LVO and stuff like that was ran independently. So you've obviously got people committed to making the tournament scene a thing over there. Whereas we've got Ellis and some stores. Right, that's about it really. So is there anything you'd like to see change in Legion apart from maybe points or anything like that? Anything you'd like to see now that and everybody must listen to you now that you're the world champion?
I just want to see greater list variety, which I think it's going to happen as more units come out, and then we get the 2 new factions. Like, I think it's just going to be like you don't even know what you're going to see at a tournament anymore. So yeah,
and if that is the case, you sort of increase the chance of seeing those random things like Ion Troopers.
Right. Yeah.
And I think like the points, if they do change points, and then we do have that list variety with the new factions, I think that's inevitable. And then you've got to consider maybe you'll throw a random unit with impact grenades or something in your list, or something. And that would be interesting. I think that's probably everything from me. I think I've checked my notes very briefly. Check my notes. I make some very serious, important notes. One of them just says Clone Wars in general. So serious notes here, guys. On the Clone Wars, I will ask you this question. You said you're looking at the Rebels right now.
Yeah.
Might you look at the Clone Wars factions?
Oh yeah, for sure. We're definitely gonna buy into it and everything. Like, I'll probably play droids and clones. Like, I'll probably ditch the original trilogy for a little bit to play that stuff. It's the new shiny stuff, so you got to play with it. But yeah, I'm really excited. It's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be tough to pick between all 4 factions. I guess I don't really like Rebels aesthetic so much, so I can kind of just like ditch them to the curb. But like the other three, like they're super cool just aesthetically, and then gameplay wise, they're all gonna feel different and play different. So it'll be cool.
Yeah, that was one of the exciting things for me when they announced the Clone Wars factions, and was more. It wasn't necessarily the fact that we were doing Clone Wars. I really like the Horde versus Elite kind of concept, because we sort of had that in the original trilogy. Well, not Horde versus Elite, but Rebels play differently. They like guerrillas, and Imperials have got better defense dice. So that's going to be interesting. I mean, I hate painting. Are you a hobby kind of guy yourself?
So if I'm being honest, like my dad does all my painting.
Oh, hail the dad! It started with the dad. It'll end with it.
He's super good at painting stuff, and like I'll try to paint some models, like, and then he'll just take it and just completely redo it.
Ooh, yeah.
And I'm just like, come on! I just spent hours painting this stuff.
You not taught him into playing Legion?
Completely. Oh no, he plays Legion. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Good. Is he any good?
Oh yeah, he's good. At the last chance qualifier in at Adepticon, we took first and second. We both went 4-0. So yeah, he's pretty good. He was at high command.
Well, then it's just the cooks will just dominate the competitive scene.
Yeah. So we went to an RPQ like 2 months ago maybe, and we both went 3-0, and then it came down to strength of schedule, and he took it because of strength of schedule. Which actually, looking back now, it's okay because they gave me an invite because I won this past weekend, so I got an invite to High Command next year. So.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Yeah, so do you actually know what High Command is? I mean, they keep calling it High Command. Is it not Worlds? I don't know what it is.
So I still don't know, and like we were asking their organized play guy, all weekend about it, and he couldn't really say much. I think it is Worlds, but like I don't know for a fact. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a huge tournament. I know that
for sure. The only thing is, like, if it's not Worlds and it's like a qualifier for Worlds, if you live in the EU, in Europe again, or anywhere else in the rest of the world, you're gonna be like, I have to pay twice if I want to get over there. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me today. Obviously, I said this at the start, but you should definitely check out Luke Cook's No Disintegrations a YouTube channel. I said there will be links in the description, links everywhere. I mean, I'd plaster it on my face if I could be bothered editing it into my face, but I can't. But you should definitely go check it out no matter what. Any parting words from yourself? Thank you again for joining me. It's been a pleasure having you. Your insights are incredible. Not just because you're good at the game, but obviously you had the unique insight of going to Worlds as well. So thank you very much for agreeing to this.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Any final words?
No, just stay cool and enjoy the game. Yeah.
Staying cool in this weather, probably not possible. I'm going to give you a little secret here. Not wearing any pants. I'm going to open this window and probably just dangle myself out of it. So that's my life. I'm roasted in here. But thanks, honestly, thank you so much for joining me. I do really appreciate that. Thanks to anybody who's listening. I said there's links to his YouTube channel in the description, etc. Find it on YouTube. I do honestly recommend checking that out. I'm not just saying it because he's here. I asked him before he won Worlds, so I actually wanted him on because of the YouTube channel. So you should definitely go check it out. Subscribe, whatever you're listening to on, just subscribe, and subscribe to Luke's channel as well. Have a beautiful day, and goodbye.
See ya.
See ya.